And now, Jabroni Studios, in association with Big Herm Productions, is proud to present to you, recording from an undisclosed location in Oakdale, Connecticut, it's Chris Burns, it's Chris Lynch, this is Dysfuction Junction.
Well, there goes the music again.
That's not supposed to do that.
I don't know why.
What the hell?
You're the brains, I'm just the talent.
Yeah, it's some new shit.
Well, let's see, kids. We had the fight of the century. I'm going to leave it there. We'll talk about the fight of the century and what should have been labeled the fight of the century on that card. We had 75 million users trying to jam into Netflix all at once, causing major disruptions nationwide, unless you watched it on your trusty phone or a tablet.
For real.
And Mike Tyson made enough to retire 2 times the other night. God bless that young man for not kicking the ever-loving shit out of him. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Dysfunction Junction.
Fuck yeah.
My name's Chris Burns. With me, as always, the producer extraordinaire, the man with no hair. It's Big Herm Michael P.S. Herman.
What is up?
From somewhere in Michigan, hopefully he has gotten his shot so he's protected from diseases. We have Chris Lynch.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
I can
We
hear
can hear
you.
you and everybody around you.
Can you see me?
No, yes, we can see you, but you're on an Apple device, and I'll bet you have the same problem Matt has. You can't see us.
I can't see you.
Welcome to
That's
the
right.
Dysfunction Junction radio show for you.
Yep, same thing for Matt Marsh, who walked away before I got to introduce him. And Matt Marsh. So we got Marsh here tonight.
We do.
Guys, if you're a red-blooded American male, meaning everyone but Marsh, you stayed up late on Friday night. You watched the fight. And when we talk about it, I really want to know, as we go along, where do you want to go first? Do you want to talk about the flicks, or do you want to talk about the fights? It's your show.
Well, let's start. Let's start with Netflix. I would think let's start with the person that was, the multi-million-dollar company that. And all we saw all night was, we saw Mike Tyson. And a lot of people were upset because, they were like, it's Mike Tyson's ass, but, it's Netflix. It's not kind of the same as HBO. Guys out there, if you're not getting the hint, this is what we fucking witnessed on Friday. You sat there and you watched and you saw Mike Tyson's ass, and then you saw Netflix.
The purple circle of doom.
Yeah, for us with the Netflix account, it was the red swirl of doom, but you get the idea. What the fuck was Netflix? My fucked up, and the thing that I'm pissed off is they went into this knowing it wasn't ready. They went into this knowing it wasn't right. There was people 2 or 3 hours prior to this event happening that were already saying, we're having some serious issues just trying to get onto Netflix, trying to get anything to happen, trying to go into the pre-show, trying to watch the Jake Paul on the way to the show shit. Netflix dropped the ball very, very hard on this. Now I know that they've got 75 million viewers for this. Basically, you're trying to stream that shit worldwide. I get
initial viewers.
Right.
We're not talking about the runover or people who joined late.
No, we're talking about 75
million people signed in.
That showed up at 6 o'clock and said,
8 o'clock here. Yep.
Right. Well, for me it was 6, but yeah, that showed up exactly when the show started, and we're like, okay, we are here. And it just got progressively worse. If you could get the show to stream, it was like watching 1984 Nintendo. It was like watching Mike Tyson play Punch-Out. It was horrible.
It was bad.
I don't know. I mean, I understand that WWE has a much smaller sign-on fan base right off the rip. I know they're only closer to say somewhere around 10 million
on any given night. Yeah, it can fluctuate, but yeah, we'll call it 10 million.
Right around that mark. But maybe their system can handle that. How many people signed on to the Tom Brady roast?
That's a good question too.
You know what I mean? That was kind of a big fucking deal.
But that's something that's something like Cobra Kai or any episodic thing. These roasts, if you watch it the night of or the day after or whatever, most people, unlike me, I'll watch an event like a football game or a boxing match the next day.
You don't want to catch the fight tomorrow afternoon because now you're just watching what you've already heard. Now you're just looking to see if it matches what you've heard.
At times, sometimes I just avoid talking to people that have seen the event. Like if I had not watched the football game this weekend and I watched it back, I would have avoided the socials. I would have never texted you. I wouldn't have texted anybody in, football land. Don't tell me about the fucking game. That's what I do with the races. Don't tell me about the races. I'm putting them on DVR. So I go into them clean unless Corey fucks it up for everybody. So Netflix has got a problem on their hands, not only with WWE coming in 2025, live streaming every Monday night. Yes.
They want to do NFL?
I know they're separate companies, but sometimes you got to call out for somebody and get help. And if Netflix wants to do this right and they want to do live sporting events and not have the circle of doom come up every 5 minutes where you got to restart the app and go back in and do this shit, call Amazon. They'll tell you how to do it. Call Peacock. They'll tell you how to do it. Make some sort of connection and say, listen, I know we compete, but I need your help. Give me little. Give me something.
I don't even think that's the issue. I think their issue is I think they know exactly what the problem is. The problem is they knew what the problem was. They knew their system was going to get overloaded before this went down. They already knew that there was a system issue. That's kind of that's kind of my point. They knew prior to this there was a system issue. They never prepared their system for what they knew it wouldn't handle. They totally know what they need to do. They're going to have to invest in some hardware, better servers, something.
Well, they got a month and a half to do it. They're on tap to stream the Christmas game for the NFL.
The Christmas game. So,
and how many people do you think, it's one of the, other than the Super Bowl, Christmas and Thanksgiving are your two biggest NFL days of the year. More viewers, whether you like the teams that are playing or not, more people sit in front of the TV and watch football on Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day, what have you. Let's see. Hello, Lynch. Hello, Brittany. Got the comment section going. We're just talking about that, Brittany. WWE Raw is going to Netflix on Monday nights coming up.
Matt,
I don't want to be in a
fight.
What's that, Bubba?
Did you see the fight?
No, I freaking was gonna watch.
I know you didn't watch it. I know you didn't watch it that night, but
I was gonna watch it the next day, and then I tuned into all the stuff that was going on, and I just figured why bother between hearing the shitty coverage and how bad.
Well, I can give you a couple good reasons. One is probably that this was taped to backup, so the next day it's going to look great.
Right, actually,
and the undercard,
watching it literally, if you had watched the broadcast as soon as the live had stopped, it probably would have been amazing.
Yeah,
this is freaking
much
abysmal.
like back in the day, there were Tim in the comment section, the snooze fest. You're absolutely right. We'll get to that in a minute, but Netflix has that issue on their hand. They had to know how big this event was going to be. It was held in AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play football. Not well, but they play there. 75,000 people packed that place. Okay? So, and now with a worldwide audience, just in America, let's just keep it just in America, 75 million homes.
Right.
Like you said, from the rip, no matter what your start time was, 8, 7, 6, or 5, as you go across the time zones here in the continental United States.
All
tuned
at the
in.
same time, and within
Exactly.
the same 4 minutes, you had 75 million people jump in.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
If you're going to do something like that, there's got to be... Look, TKO runs
Later,
UFC.
Lynch.
Later, Lynch. Enjoy Michigan if you can. Get your shots, too. You know, WWE's coming to Netflix. TKO, which owns UFC and the WWE, could possibly help Netflix because they stream a whole bunch of stuff. UFC has their own app. WWE, even as of now, I think they're staying. Their content is on Netflix with NBC Universal. And all the what they used to call pay-per-views, now it's get on Peacock and watch it for free-ish for whatever price you pay a month. Those things are clean. I'm talking gorgeous. The lighting, the stream, nothing goes haywire, nothing goes shitty. What does Brittany have to say? I was wondering how the audiences are going to change. And then with the way this broadcast went, how's it going to go with moving forward? I guess that's kind of like what we're talking about now.
That's a follow up to the other part that she spoke on. It was
I was wondering because it's going to go
and Brittany, to answer your question, that's because USA is network TV.
Mm-hmm.
It is commercial network TV. That's why you wouldn't have gotten Mike Tyson's ass in full on USA. It's Netflix. They are a streaming service. They are not bound by the FCC
and a subscription service as well.
And a subscribed service. So people pay, and because it's not free and not a commercial based service, your a PG on Netflix doesn't. You will see the same show. You will not see. Netflix doesn't have to worry about a TV-14. They can go right from PG and skip, and go right to an R rating if that's where it goes.
Yeah, and
the TV-14 rating doesn't matter. It's going to be the same show. You're just dealing with apples and oranges.
Yeah, to kind of
TV is concerned.
To kind of piggyback that point, and then I want to go to Tim's comment. TV-14 is not going to matter, but I don't think with the WWE, which is geared toward mainly 18 to 34-year-old males, but they have a heavy kid contingent. You know, they sell dolls, they sell, puffy, what do you call them, like teddy bears, all sorts of shit geared toward kids. The last thing I think you're going to see on a WWE broadcast is, say, Roman Reigns' dick. I don't think you're ever going to see that.
And skip.
Right. Something's got to mute.
Yeah, I got it. He's good.
All right. So, yeah, the TV-14, WWE knows their audience there, and they know how they're going to dance around this problem with Netflix. Yeah, you're not going to see, as much as I'd love to see it, Liv Morgan whip out her tatas on Monday night, nor are you going to see Roman Reigns swinging that hammer.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
No,
but to Tim's point,
it'll be the same show.
They sell dolls. They sell, puffy, what do you call them, like teddy bears. That's the weirdest thing right now. But to Tim's comment, I think they could have added more. When he said he wanted to see the mic in the training videos that we were pummeled with those for weeks on the socials, Instagram, X, Facebook. Would have been nice to see a little bit more of that, but instead they went with like this career retrospective on Mike Tyson. Look, I've seen all those knockouts. I can go to YouTube right now and watch every knockout Mike has ever performed, and that's all. They just show the uppercut, the dude falls down like a sack of shit, it's over.
Right.
I can do that now. But to Tim's point, those training videos were stellar, and it made him look like he was a monster. It really did.
Yeah, I mean, you've also got to remember that he pulled out of this fight. I don't know what's up with Mike's health, but Mike, at the end of training when it was fight time, looked older than Mike when he started training.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what it was. I mean, we have this stomach thing, this ulcer thing. Look,
Yeah, that was the first postponement was the ulcer, right?
Right. And he hasn't looked the same really since that postponement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looks good. I'm not for a 58-year-old man, he looks great. But he definitely looked older at the end of training than he did when he started.
The
Also,
weigh-ins.
you notice when most of those training videos, there's no knee brace.
No.
And Mike, I think Mike just went with some money and took a nice easy payday. There are several fights if you slow points if you slow that fight down that Mike knew exactly. There's one point where Mike goes down and Jake leans in, and Mike could have just rocked him with an uppercut and taken him
Second round.
Right, but instead he just kind of pushes him back. Mike knew that spot. He even if he can't make it, he doesn't have the quote unquote delivery system. He recognized that spot, and there was no. He didn't even try.
You saw him. You physically saw him turn his shoulder.
Yes, and then just and come out of that. Coming back up to rock Jake's chin would have just been a natural fucking back rock move.
Oh yeah, all of us. I mean, you and I, and I can speak for Marsh and for Lynch as well. Every one of us who watched a Mike Tyson fight, when he gets hunched and that right shoulder dips, and the left comes up to protect him, you know what's coming next. That fucking jackhammer.
There's an uppercut, and it was like it was gone. It didn't happen.
Yep.
And
just like the Nintendo game.
You know, like for real. There's a reason they put that's in the Nintendo game. It's a known fucking Mike Tyson move. When he does the rock over, when he does the gorilla bend and and brings the fucking left hand up, that right hand's coming up, bro.
Yep.
It's hitting your fucking chin. And he stopped. He pulled it back and then stopped it. He never even put it through to a punch. He turned it into a wave off and a pushback.
It was disappointing as hell to see that, because once that shoulder went down, I'm not going to lie, I might have had a little tingle in my stomach. Yes.
We're going to see it. And we didn't see it.
We're going to hear it. He knocked his head off into the 18th row.
That's what I'm saying. Like, shit, dude in the 14th row got Jake Paul head. I did. I was like, what the fuck?
There's two ways.
I was like, Michael, what the fuck are you doing in there?
There's two ways I look at this fight. Actually, I'm gonna say three ways. No matter win or lose, Jake Paul comes away a winner by making $40 million, promoting the fight, bringing his boxing idol into the ring and having this exhibition. This wasn't a real fight, guys. Stop. Anybody who thinks, we all went in thinking it was going to be competitive.
It was a modified fight that they got sanctioned for the purpose of it was Apollo and the Russian. To be honest, is what
I was thinking more along the lines of Rocky Balboa and Mason Dixon from the
same thing. It was just an exhibition fight that didn't really that they were lucky enough and pushed hard enough to get sanctioned.
Yep. The second way I look at this fight is this was a lose-lose for Jake Paul. On the one hand, if he goes balls out and he knocks out Tyson, okay, so you beat an old man. Now, let's go back to that second round where we saw the shoulder dip and you knew that right uppercut was cocked and he didn't pull. If he'd have knocked out Jake Paul, you just lost to a near 60-year-old man. No matter the fact that this went to a draw, protected, and it's what up, Chaka? How you doing tonight? Tim, in the comment section.
Protected everybody.
Yeah.
It protected everybody from being the bad guy.
Yeah, so you go to a draw, right? And the biggest winner of all of this, let's be clear, is Mike Tyson. Yes, Mike Tyson makes money doing his touring and his appearances, and he's getting residuals from a lot of things over the years. I just watched The Hangover today just to see Mike Tyson. And but to go in there, 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds, 16 minutes worth of fighting, all the training you did to walk away with $20 million, cash in hand. You just set yourself up for your kids, for your grandkids, for everything else. Did he need it? Maybe. He's had financial issues in the past, but I think at this point they've all kind of warmed over. He's
somebody said that at work. Like somebody said, like he's near bank. He's almost bankrupt. Look, Michael's a 60-year-old man, and he already went through that shit with Don King.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He's much smarter with his money now.
Now,
you know what I mean? He's got plenty of money. He doesn't have people sucking it out of him anymore. Yeah, I don't think he's having trouble financially. I think I don't think it was a matter of he needed the money. Everybody loves a little money.
Yeah.
He got some training. He got some press. Any press is bad press. Doesn't matter.
And for a
good press,
and for a 58-year-old dude, looks phenomenal. I mean, yes, he looked sullen. He looked kind of oldish walking to the ring, moving around the ring. He wasn't walking forward, if you noticed. He was kind of walking side to side like he was favoring that knee, but that wasn't the Mike Tyson we're used to, who he would, kind of bounce forward. He didn't move forward. He moved.
There was that no work in.
Yeah, but when he came out of the corner, he didn't go straight forward like usual. He kind of did that Tito Santana, I'm going to circle the ring before I.
Yep.
It wasn't. So much about this broke my heart. Not only the Netflix coverage, but watching that fight, it was like, God, this is why Rocky Balboa was a movie. And he went 10 rounds with the champ. This is not a movie, guys. This was a real man in a real ring fighting I guess you could call. Look, let's be honest. Jake Paul is a real fighter. He hasn't fought any.
He's a professional fighter. He doesn't have any real clout or reputation as a contender.
No,
for anything. He is the Disney Studios kid that has figured out how to just market himself. He doesn't. Unfortunately, he's not really great at anything other than selling himself.
Yeah, being the YouTuber guy.
So real fighters that are in contention right now for belts and whatnot, nobody's really gonna want to fight him. Like Canelo's not gonna even entertain his fucking.
There's only one reason Canelo would do it. Money.
Right, and but that's the thing. But the money that he offered Mike, Canelo's not going to do it. Canelo's career at this point means more than that money. The money that comes with that career and championship is what he's all about. If he wanted to just make money, he could just be Jake Paul and knock a bunch of non-meaningful people out.
I mean, it's not like Jake Paul's a tomato can. Let's put it that way.
I'm not saying that, but we also haven't seen him fight current, top-ranked.
Current, yes, top ranked, not even close.
You know what I mean?
He's not fighting Spider Rico, but he's not exactly fighting Clubber Lang out there.
Right. You know what I mean? Like
I had to do that for Marsh because I wanted him to become part of the process here.
You know what I mean? Like he's not fighting anybody that's.
My man is muted. I don't know why. We're having new technology, kids. We're still working on it.
I've got him on.
I can't hear a damn thing he's saying.
Yeah, his mic, whatever it is, he's not muted. We just can't hear him.
Mm.
Yeah.
We got nothing, kid. But the one thing at the end of that fight that I thought was hilarious, and if you want to take this down a road that you think it wouldn't go, Jake Paul is a part-time professional wrestler with WWE. Jake Paul has put on some phenomenal fucking matches in WWE. So some of the best I've seen for a kid greener than goose shit. He's got the sauce.
Who, Jake or Logan?
Logan, sorry. But
Just
that
checking.
interaction with them at the end of the fight, well, Mike, would you ever fight again? Yeah, maybe I'll fight Logan. Logan's like, motherfucker, I'll kill you. But Jake Paul is a contracted WWE performer. Why not, in Vegas in April of 2025, put those two in a ring and let them play pretend fight? Mike gets another big payday from the WWE. Logan fulfills more of his contract. You get the second half of that. And this is where I want to give Jake Paul a little bit of credit. I don't want to shine his balls too much. I appreciate, you know me, I appreciate the art of pro wrestling.
Yep.
But to stand there for 8 rounds and get your head knocked around by fighters, no matter what caliber they are, is a lot tougher than being in a WWE ring, in my opinion. I've never really done either. I've farted around a wrestling ring before, but never professionally. I've never been the light heavyweight champion of my neighborhood, but, you know, it is what it is. But you ask, let's see, there was a couple boxers that went on to do wrestling. Mark Merrow was one of them. Herman known him as Johnny B. Bad. Don't say what he did. we're not going to sing the old song.
We're not going to talk about that.
No, we don't talk about Bruno. How we doing, Marsh? You back?
No, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Yeah, now you can hear me, but I can't see you. It's one or the
That's
other.
okay.
It's
This
all
is
right.
bullshit.
Take the over.
Take
What's the under?
The under is we can see you and not hear you,
Well, there's worse.
or you can
things in
see
life.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we want
exactly.
you at least part of the conversation. You know,
Right.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
even when I tried getting into it on Facebook, there's a lag time of like 45 seconds. So
Yeah,
I
we
can
heard
watch
it.
the thing.
We
Yeah.
heard it.
Let me ask you a question. Now that we can hear you, you grew up like we did, watching Mike Tyson fights. You see him. Well, you
Fuck
didn't
yeah.
watch the fight, but man, was that a smart move for him? Take the financials out of it. Financially, it's a great fucking move.
I don't think it was a smart move. I think anytime you see something like this, it's more of a spectacle. And I think it's very difficult for somebody to come across after one of these things and not be kind of, not like a laughing stock, but it just very rarely do I think it ends well when somebody comes back after a retirement like this and tries to do one of these things.
Right. His last sanctioned fight, professional sanctioned fight, was 19 years ago. That thing with
Right.
Roy Jones Jr. a couple years ago, that was all exhibition. That was,
Yeah.
hey, it's COVID. No one can do anything. Let's throw this out here for some entertainment value. Even
Right.
Roy Jones said it. He was like, it wasn't scripted, but we knew we were pulling punches. We weren't fighting to fight.
I just think
They were
unless you
doing
need
the show, and they made him connect, and they had to be real. But
right, but like going back to the money thing, unless you need a massive payday, I really don't see any reason. I mean, do you really want to be remembered for this? Because I think you'd want to be.
Let's take it from Mike's point of view. Mike probably came out with this just all right. Look, we're intending a decent fight. I'm
Right.
going to give Mike the benefit of the doubt just because I've watched him for 30 fucking years, 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
You know.
Yeah, he broke out at 19 years old, so we're going on 40 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
I think Mike couldn't pull out, wouldn't pull out, wouldn't stop it and not do it.
That's what sent him to jail in the first place.
You know, yeah.
Shit.
He signed up for something, and I think he had a much better, clearer picture of where it was going before he ran into the ulcer thing. I think the ulcer thing and the knee and his legs really are what messed him up. That ulcer thing is like internal. It's thoracic. It's right. That shit fucks you up. And I truly believe that's why he looked older I think it was the condition he's got to be dealing with now. I mean, we saw him do some amazing fucking things, and he just looked old. Again,
Yeah.
looked old.
I think, and honestly, that's part for me that's kind of sad because it kind of, none of us are getting any younger. And when we see this guy who we started to watch fight when he was 19, and now
I think I could take Mike now.
Yeah, but what does it say for the rest of us too? It's like it's kind of like confronting your own mortality.
I'm at fighting weight right now.
Yeah, for an AIDS patient.
I'm at fighting weight.
There's one thing that's the beauty of most sports
leave
fans.
my neck alone. This is I find this beautiful because I didn't even know I had a neck.
There's a certain thing with most sports fans, and I'll actually use the term intelligent sports fans. They don't remember the losses as much as they remember the wins, which is fine, unless you're a Dallas fan, in which case, stop remembering the wins. They were 30 years ago.
Yeah, and
but
Mike Tyson's remembering the wins were fucked up because we are remembering.
No. We're remembering. He said it in a pre-match interview. He said, I could give a fuck about my legacy. I give a fuck about what my kids think, what my grandkids think. That's it.
And right now.
Yeah.
And right now, what my kids and my grandkids think. That's it. No, but
so,
what I'm saying for us was those fights for us were a big deal. We didn't have streaming, nothing. We all had to.
Oh shit! Pay-per-view.
This is mid to late '80s, bro. These things were $60 to $70 then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was like 300 now.
I was just gonna say that's like $300-400 for a fucking pay-per-view.
That was a big deal.
We'd scrape come on, you remember? We'd all scrape together $10-15, meet at somebody's house. We'd have to talk to somebody's parents and all agree and convince them that we were paying and please order the fucking thing on cable because there was no other way for us to get it.
Yeah.
And then we coughed up 2 or 3 hours worth of pay
at least
at the time. All right, for your portion of that pay-per-view. All right. So we're dropping $60 on a pay-per-view, and we would get we get Leon's we get the Michael Spinks fight. We get 91 seconds. We're literally
you get Burbage going down in 82 seconds.
Right. Like 70 we're in 87, we're spending 75 cents a minute for television. And
on top of that,
Mike would come out knowing that he was going to make $3 billion tonight, make it happen, poof, 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 and he just took my cut of the door because 90 seconds and $60.
I will say this: the difference between the undercards we used to see back then and the undercard we saw Friday night and day. Jake Paul's promotion, whatever the name of it is. Put together a fantastic cast of characters that put on some of the best fights I've seen in years in that undercard. The pre-main with the two young ladies just beating the ever-loving piss out of each other. That was the best fight I've seen in 4 years.
Yep, and the fight before that, those guys just, there was a bloodbath, and they literally beat each other's faces unrecognizable.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was half-ass sanctioned, first of all, the ref was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
The refs all night were horrible. Most of those fights should have been stopped halfway into them. The first fight, he should have gotten warnings right off the rip for walking around with his arms down.
Yeah.
That bullshit of dry humping him in the corner, that should have been a point. There was a lot of half-ass boxing rules that were half-ass followed. So
if they were followed at all.
Yeah, I mean, there was 4 headbutts. She got told on the second one, and then on the fourth,
they took the point away.
He finally said, "Hey, you better do something different," and they took a point away. Should have been 1 headbutt, the one that caused the initial gash. That should have been a point, and then the second one should have been a DQ. That should have never.
I'm going in a different direction. The first one you could argue, I'm not going to be the one that argues that, could have been incidental contact. The second one and the third one should have been the point deduction and the DQ. Because as you mentioned, she did it 4 different times. And it wasn't until the fourth incident that they penalized her.
And this particular boxer is known for using her head to beat opponents about the face.
Oh, I loved it when they went to the corner man after the 4th round, and he's MF this, and she does this all the time, and I can't believe this is going on. And I'm like,
yeah, he was like, this is some bullshit. She does this.
Oh, yeah.
Time. Yep.
He was hot.
Watch her fight. She does.
Exactly.
Very much.
But again, very exciting, very, well booked fights. Whether or not we like the officiating, I had fun watching these fights.
Yeah, I thought the first fight was okay. It seemed more like the first fight seemed more, I don't know, seemed like a joke, but the next 2 were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Fight 2 and 3 were amazing. Serrano got robbed.
I agree with that.
The Tyson Paul fight, which was, just a basket of suck.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that. That was embarrassing. And I'm not saying that the promotion or the fighters or anyone should be embarrassed. We should be embarrassed for investing as much time as we did to watching these and basically being hung out to dry.
We should be very disappointed and we should be upset. This is not the fight we were promised, Netflix. This is not the fight we were promised, TKO Productions. We didn't even get the fight we deserved.
The first mistake,
the one we need.
Right. The first mistake was billing it right off the rip as the fight of the century. Because then you have to live up to that.
We have expectations.
Oh, yeah.
Especially those of us that have been in the long game with Mike.
Whether it's Mike or Holyfield or Berbick or Tyson Fury or Vladimir Klitschko or whatever heavyweight champion we've seen come and go over the years, you got what you paid for. Right. And yes, it was a subscription service. You pay your $21 a month to get Netflix. You have access to thousands of movies and documentaries and all this hubba-lubba bullshit.
No, we didn't pay specifically for this fight, but we
invested our time.
We invested our time and expected that, and we expected you, Netflix, to give us a decent night.
None of that happened.
I felt it was very disrespectful to boxing in general as a whole. Boxing, I feel, is just starting to get snubbed. Everybody's all about MMA now, and
boxing did that to themselves. When you promote lackluster fights for years and years, and then this other fresh new alternative comes in, and if you want to really look at it, when MMA, I'm going to specifically speak of the UFC at this point. When they hit the ground running in 94, 95, nobody would bring them into their arenas unless it was Denver. I know McNichols Arena always threw it down. A couple arenas out here, Mohegan Sun Arena being one of them, because it's exciting and it's a moneymaker. Once they knew it was regulated and it wasn't just human cockfighting, people got on board, and it became the biggest freaking thing in the world. And what did boxing do? You have the heavyweight champion of the world, but wait, this organization is disputing that he's the champion, so this guy's their champion. You had like 4 fucking heavyweight champions in the boxing world.
Yeah, boxing had a problem. Yeah, you did. And then they all decided to go unified.
Mm-hmm. What they call the linear champion now.
Right, you have a unified title.
Mm-hmm.
Between
it was one thing. It was one thing, and it was cool until, and let's be honest, when Tyson unified those championships in the late 80s, it should have stayed there. And if WBC was going to back away from him, but WBO wasn't, and IBF was going to do this thing, and they split the champion
and all of that shit.
boxing did this to themselves. I mean, it was no longer fun.
Well, yeah, basically what you had is they had diversified themselves and kept themselves small the way that wrestling was when Vince swooped in.
Yeah, in the 80s, the territory system. Yeah.
Right, where they had basically, and that's kind of basically the way it wasn't a territory system per se.
Not for boxing, no.
But you had rules for one organization, rules for another, rules for a third. Yeah, everybody there was slightly different rules. You fighted where you liked the rules, and they did do it to themselves. They kept themselves too small and scattered about.
Mm-hmm. And that all once those titles were fractured after being unified, it all went to hell. The last amazing heavyweight fight I could remember is I want to say it was Roy Jones Jr. and what was his name? Griffin? They held it at Foxwoods, and it was a worldwide pay-per-view gimmick. Jason Chrisley got me in to see the fight. Fantastic. I want to say it was their second fight, actually, and Jones put two of the belts together. So, great.
Fantastic.
Here we go.
He's
Welcome back.
He's watching the
Can
Facebook
you hear?
feed. No, he's watching the Facebook feed.
All right. And we can't hear him.
No, well, it's because
He mad.
Yeah.
Hey, there you are.
This is crazy.
Yeah, the difference and you know, wrestling, let's be honest, I don't want to piss anybody off. It's not a sport, but it's athletic.
No, it's an athletic form of entertainment.
It's an athletic event.
You know what I mean?
Baseball has these rules, football has these rules, racing has these rules, subject to change depending on how much they drank the night before.
You want to say about like a rodeo clown. However, it's a very athletic required job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But each sport basically has the same rule, the same basic principled rules. The fact that the IBF, the WBC, the WBO, all the different alphabet belts that they had out there in the late 90s, and new organizations coming in and trying to stake their claim, they pissed in their own pond, and they did this to themselves. And while UFC was rising, while WWE and WCW were capturing the sports entertainment crowd, and then you had groups like Bellator come in. Well, these guys are almost good enough to be in UFC, but we're going to be their feeder system, and we're going to give you some exciting fights too. I love Bellator. I wouldn't miss it when it came to town. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Yep.
If you went to Japan and you did pancrase or pride fighting, well, Pride was the name of the promotion. Pride fighting is not a thing. It's what people call it.
Shoot wrestling. Sorry.
It's real.
Well, it's like you can't call it midget wrestling no more. You got to call it what, micro wrestling or something?
Micro league wrestling. What the fuck?
I thought
Brad Williams
was better.
I call it. I'm gonna go dice man on this. I call it midget wrestling. That's what it is. I think it spells it out.
Yeah.
And the midgets are getting paid, and they're fucking happy.
Yeah, they are.
It's always fucking millennial fucking white girls in college that get pissed off about this shit.
Yep. That's like Brad Williams on his little comedy bit says, I'm a midget. I suffer from dwarfism. That's what I am.
He's a trip, man. I dig that.
I'm not offended. Why are you offended? Like you said, angry white girl.
Well,
I'm the one who should.
They feel like they got to advocate for people that don't want to be advocated for.
Precisely.
Oh yeah, you know, like all the time. They have trouble if you wear a serape or if you were to walk down the street wearing a sombrero.
What the fuck's a serape?
That would be the blanket with the
the Clint Eastwood one from A Fistful of Dollars.
Okay, let's go with that. You, yes, white boy, yes. Yes, the ones from yes, that is a serape. Yes. But yeah, like they're the ones that lose their mind. He's wearing a sombrero, but none of the but if you walked up and asked any Mexican on the street, like, yo, does me wearing the hat bother you? No, it's cool. Anybody have a
Nice.
problem with me wearing the blanket over my head? Nah, we
No.
don't care.
I guess as long as you're not wearing a white sheet, people should just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, and even if you are, and it could be Halloween sometimes. I'm just saying. Everybody calm the fuck down. Oh my God, he's
Yep.
wearing a white sheet. Bitch, it's Halloween.
Yeah, I'm a ghost. I'm not, what is it?
I'm not
Buford
the
Forrest,
gay-
what's his nuts?
I'm a ghost. You know, come on.
Forrest,
Let's not. Well, I mean, it's kind of my attitude. Same attitude, and we're gonna change it. And I'm not getting political. My attitude after the election now is that everybody keeps freaking out, and like every time he says something or does something, well, you gotta don't freak out. Wait, just wait. All right, because he does say a lot of shit, and a lot of it sounds really fucking bad. And I'm not supporting him by any way, shape, or means or form. But if you'd like to hold on to a small amount of sanity, wait and see how bad it actually happens when it goes through. So my new thing is I'm not freaking out really on shit.
I gotta tell my kid, you don't worry until there's a reason to worry.
You know, we'll worry about it when it's time for that. But do I have concerns? Absolutely. Am I worried yet? No. And that's
No.
how everybody needs to take that shit. Stop.
Pretty much. And going back to this point, that I don't know how we ended up here, but if I'm any sort of, like Herm, any sort of Latino descent, or if Herm was a female, Latina descent, that Latinx bullshit can straight suck it.
Yeah, no, even the Latins, we don't do that shit. Like literally.
Except
like,
AOC, who bases her entire
yeah,
career
like-
on.
right, like literally, even the word, what is it? Oh, the word trans in Spanish is either ends with an O or an A.
Because it's a gendered language.
Yes. It's
I
just
mean,
the way the
but
language works.
You're preaching to the choir, because I try to explain that to goofy ass white people, and well, how dare you, you bigot? Well, just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I'm a bigot. Just means I'm educated. Sorry.
Like, even terms that don't have gender assigned have gender assigned in
Mm-hmm. La lápiz es Maria.
right, because it literally in Spanish, right in Spanish it literally matters if it's like the word for bisexual. It literally matters if you're a girl that is or a boy that is. To use the word bisexual in the Latin form as it applies to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really messed up. And I don't mean messed up as in like wrong. Like there's in that particular language there is no way to get out of it.
No.
There's no way to get out of the use of gender. It's
But
impossible.
when you have that horse-faced bartender telling everybody what they should and should not say, and basically taking thousands of years of this language, this beautiful language. There's something I love about Spanish. There's just something about the language. It just sounds cool. And now you're saying, well, you can't say this. It has to be dumbed down and politically corrected. Go tell that to Hector with his serape and his donkey. Tell him to use the term Latinx. See how far you get.
Even the term for non-binary.
Non-binario and non-binaria.
Yes.
I looked at. Remember, I shared that about 6 months ago.
Yes, non-binary. Even it applies. Well, okay, you're non-binary, but are you a male or a female?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you're binario.
Yeah, it literally comes. It doesn't matter. Even the term non-binary is one or the other. It's binary.
Gendered.
It's binary.
It's just a special form of narcissism I can't understand. I don't care how you live your life. You want
I
to,
can understand that shit.
yeah, it's just stop trying to force me to do your thing.
Exactly.
Because I don't
Just-
give a fuck.
Yeah, we all just get along.
Exactly. Like Herm brought up the election. Herm brought up the election.
I'm really
Now-
excited to see what the hell they do with Matt Gaetz.
I don't think he makes it.
I don't either. I'm just very, very, very curious to see how that rubs out.
I think he fucked himself
I do
by
too.
resigning before the conclusion of the inquiry.
Right. Well, you're not going to get it officially, but we're going to have you're going to have to get it back. You're going to have to get a loophole around that.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the direct report. You're going to have to wait till it circles around. But
Correct.
I think everybody, hopefully, when your own party is like, fuck Donald.
Yeah, that was the only decision he's made so far that I went.
Some of them are a
not
little.
so much.
What's her name there? The lady that's had issues with the one that with the Russia link.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah. I call her Congressional Rachel Ray. Look at her face. I think you think.
I know.
Right. Listen, Congressional Rachel Ray.
For me, and because you mentioned
the real, what the fuck, man?
It won't pass muster. And here's a reason. I mean, they have the evidence. The inquiry started. He resigns before the inquiry is finished.
Hear it. Everybody on the Hill will know exactly what it says.
Of course. And much like I said a couple weeks ago, when before the election, we were talking a little bit of politics. Well, these allegations against Trump, I'm like, look, I can allege anything I want about anyone I want, and whether there's any validity behind it, it still has to go through the system. It still has to be investigated. And if it comes out like Brett Kavanaugh or like this one or like that one, you suck it up and you deal with it. I made this point a million times, and I see it on both sides in the last 2 weeks since we had our big election. Not every Democrat is a bleeding heart fucking liberal that wants to trans your kids, and not every Republican wants to stop everything about women's rights and this, that, and the third. You're feeding the fear. You're helping to push this narrative. Not you, Herm, not you, Marsh, not me, Chris. The general public is helping to push this narrative. If we want to come back together, how about the news outlets report the news and leave the opinion to the last 5 minutes of the show? Wouldn't that help? I mean, yes, we've mentioned it before. Walter Cronkite was a raging racist and a ridiculous alcoholic.
Not on the show.
But when he stared down the barrel at camera, you got the news and nothing but the news. There's a reason why in your local newspaper there is an opinion section. The entire newspaper should not be opinion. Here's the news, here's the weather, here's the sports, here's the local. And these 4 pages over here are the opinion section. It's not like that anymore. No. And that goes back to sports heavily, especially when it comes to this fight, because I've seen everybody saying this fight was fixed. I saw everybody saying that this was a travesty to the boxing world. And the one thing that I'm going to agree with, and Herm and I almost got in trouble, mostly Herm, for making that show card. The clearest picture you got during that fight, if you watch television, was Mike Tyson's ass.
It buffered, and then for 14 and a half seconds, it was all of a sudden, everything was 1080p. I don't know what the fuck happened. I almost, literally...
When I saw her, she comes down, I saw this.
I literally thought, they're fucking with us. They're fucking with us.
Right.
Like, I had 5 fucking devices going, man. I had it going on. I had Netflix going on the phone, the tablet, a second phone, the TV in the living room, and I had it going on a secondary network on another Wi-Fi network in the bedroom, and not one of them could get a steady fucking picture.
Right.
Until Mike Tyson's ass. The entire house unified for 14 and a half seconds, and then everybody fucked up again. And I was like, they're fucking with us. They're fucking with us. They're fucking with us.
It was not the sight I wanted to see.
No, and I didn't really have a problem with it. I didn't really care.
I didn't either. If you showed it for 2 seconds and then break away, they showed him walk away. You watched every dimple on that man's ass jiggle and wiggle and giggle.
Yeah, like
on the way back to
right. You could have just tightened in on above the waist,
or cut away, or
right, like
switch.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's you telling me that camera didn't have a zoom?
And you
totally
didn't have some B-roll.
Right, and you didn't have to like block it out or digitize it, and you didn't have to worry about that it was there, but it happened, and you go with it. But you need a cameraman that's like, okay, and just tighten your shot.
Yeah,
Just
bring the
tighten your
camera
shot.
up. Whether or not they had
up and tighten.
whether or not they had B-roll cooked up and ready to go, that would have been a perfect time for them to cut to some pre-taped B-roll.
Yeah.
To cut to some pre-taped bullshit about the next fight coming up. You could have cut to, hey, our next fight on Netflix is going to be once we figure out the server problem, and we're throwing these 2 fighters at you on March 31st or whenever the fuck.
Right.
And here we go.
Cut into cut to the Christmas game. Cut to WWE is coming. Something. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it wasn't great. I have no problem with the shot and it happening. I have a problem with the cameraman not tightening his shot and doing a better job of giving us a better experience.
Right.
I mean, if you really want to do it, tighten in and just tighten in on his ass. If you're just, you know what I mean? If that's the case, just tighten in on his butt. Give us the money shot and then back out. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it seemed like a half-assed cameraman shot as for somebody who worries about things like that and how shots look.
Well, they had the thing with the hockey game last year where they do the crowd shots in between periods and you see your face up on the board and everybody goes nuts and the woman in the Oilers jersey whips out her tits and they immediately cut camera and go to another camera.
Immediately.
You're in AT&T Stadium. You mean to tell me you only had 7 cameras?
Right.
You couldn't have cut to a wide shot.
Everybody knows you can. What you're telling me? You can't. You don't run. You're not running any delay. In today's. Well,
you don't need to on Netflix, and I think that came up earlier.
No, you don't. No, you don't. But a lot of things don't. But you get 5-second delay for a reason. 5-second delay in this business allows you to cover a mistake that doesn't really fuck you up, but
it covers your ass.
Yes.
No pun intended.
Right. A lot of shows, even though they're running live, run a 5-second delay only for that safety reason. It's a safety net.
Watch Monday Night Raw. When you're watching the show,
I can do it. I can add a delay in here or anywhere else in case I need it.
When you're watching Monday Night Raw, there's a 7-second delay. So while you're into this match and the commentator is telling you, he's painting the picture of what the story is going on in the ring, and the crowd starts to yell, "She's a whore" or "Holy shit!"
Right? They can cut it and just trim it and start working it.
They basically mute it.
They cut the background sound out in this wherever the mic section near the mics. And just let it roll. You can do amazing things now with sound. Like I can literally pull out just a specific set of frequencies so you don't hear it. Everything else is still here.
They do the same with baseball games, although I want to give a lot of baseball fans credit. You don't hear a lot of the same shit you hear at a boxing match or UFC or WWE. When they're chanting, they will, if it's a bad chant, they're gonna mute it. That's what they're gonna do. Whereas if you're on Netflix, and this is where the WWE comes in with their move to Netflix in 2025, you don't have to do that anymore. But again, you have to remember your key demographics is children and men 18 to 34.
Right.
Men 18 to 34 don't give a shit if they hear "holy shit."
Right.
But now you may not want little.
Now you can do specials. You can do special shows that are that are rated that way. The thing with Netflix, and it would allow you. Honestly, you could expand into a much dirtier, more adult version that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if WWE was on HBO, you could technically do a second show.
You're using your discretion on whether or not little Johnny gets to watch this show or not.
Right, right. But as an adult, I can watch a more show that's geared to me, and
Correct.
not as much little Johnny.
Right. Matt, what are you thinking down there?
I'm still perplexed about this whole thing where you said the shit's moving over to Netflix, the HBO shit.
Monday Night Raw is switching from the USA Network to Netflix in 2025, live streaming every Monday night.
So we're now going to have to pay for it. Well, I mean, unless you already have Netflix.
Well, that's the key. If you want a WWE, what do they call it now? Premium live event. It's pay-per-view, guys. We know what
I was going to say, isn't that pay-per-view?
Yes, basically, except the fact that they're on Peacock now with all these events. If you're subscribed to Peacock, all you do is click and you're in. There's no more $49.95 getting 6 of your buddies together, ordering a couple pizzas. You just click
if you've
and go.
got a subscription, you can watch it. Like I've got the Peacock and the Paramount and all of that shit, and they're all tied together. And you just go in when it's something streaming only on, and then you just go in, button on Peacock. Yeah. You can watch the live event right then and there, SummerSlam, whatever that shit is. But yeah,
and if you're like me, you watch it the next day, and you get it's the same quality, and it's the same show. There's no cuts. The only one that I think they ever cut was when a fan jumped into the ring and attacked somebody. They just cut that 3 seconds out, and it was like it was never there. But that goes back to the 7-second delay in the editing. On the live show, you saw that happen. If you watch the replay like I do, I rarely watch those things live. If I get a hair across my ass, I'll watch it. But there it is. And you're like, oh, well, I didn't see it. I'm glad everybody and their brother shared it on fucking Instagram because I got to see it.
So is this stuff really like putting sports bars out of business and things like that? The way
it can. It can, though, because my friend... Go ahead, please.
I'm curious to find out what your it's not that I don't believe you. I'd like to hear why you believe it can. And now
it could, because going back to WWE, on my old podcast, the one I used to do, that's where I'm going to leave it. We would do annual events for SummerSlam. We'd have raffles and this and that, and we would live stream. But we sat far enough away where you couldn't hear the audio. You know, Tim was nice enough. I've known Tim for 20-something years. Really great guy, owner of The Deck. If you're ever in Westbrook, Connecticut, go eat at The Deck. Tell him I sent you. And he would do it from his WWE Network subscription and put it on every TV in the bar. If you came there looking for something other than SummerSlam, you were shit out of luck because this is SummerSlam night. The advertisements went out. My face was on there with the other guy. We were... It was like this wonderful thing. And then somehow, WWE caught wind of it and said, yeah, we have this thing where if you're a sports bar, you don't pay $59.95 or use your WWE subscription, which is $10 a month. You have to pay us $1,500 just to stream the event. So in that way, it could hurt. But if you're on a streaming... WWE Network was a streaming service, but it was proprietary. WWE owned the streaming service. So they could do that. Whereas Peacock, I don't think NBC Universal gives half a shit if you play Days of Our Lives, SummerSlam, the NFL. I don't think they give half a fuck.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. With Peacock, the owner of the bar can cast his tablet or plug his tablet. Nowadays, I can do it with mine. I use the USB-C to HDMI, and I HDMI out of the tablet into a splitter, and I could literally just send it to every fucking TV in the place.
That sounds like what Timmy did, yeah.
Done. And that's that. And Peacock doesn't give a shit.
Yep.
No.
It was lucky enough. It was lucky enough for Tim that between our show and it being SummerSlam and it being The Deck, which is a very popular, hangout there in Westbrook, you drew enough of a crowd where if he had to do the $1,500, he made more than that just on alcohol alone that night. So, plus the food is good. And the atmosphere was electric. We had raffles, we had trivia contests, all sorts of shit leading up to the show.
what'll hurt is the cable companies.
Yes. But it's
hurt.
already hurting the cable companies because nobody's buying pay-per-view anymore for the wrestling side, unless you're watching Empty Arena Wrestling or Ring of Honor, who still does pay-per-view events.
The reason I mentioned it as far as with the bars is because I've read a handful of articles over the past few months, and they've talked about how the younger demographic is not gravitating to bars, sports or otherwise, like they did when, our age and older did. So I'm wondering if like these sporting events, if it's just going to become a home thing and the bars are eventually just going to go bye-bye.
I mean, speaking as someone who not too long ago went to a bar to watch a football game with a friend.
Kids will eventually hit 40 and have a fucking IRA and a college fund and 3 kids and
want to escape from the house
and want to and need to deaden the pain.
Oh yeah.
No, but I don't think you're ever going to see bars go away.
No, I don't think you're going to see them go away. But the sports bars and the pay-per-view events and the big, I don't know.
The crowd at Long Shots that day that I went to watch football was a pretty good mix. You had, your 21 to 25s who were just there to hang out with their friends, and they occasionally look at the TV. You had me and my buddy who were transfixed on the game we were watching, but the crowd was diverse in age. And, diverse everywhere else. It was still a fun atmosphere. You still got the party atmosphere. And I think the more young people that see that and say, dude, I went and hung out at Long Shots the other day and the Patriots were on, if that's your team. And when they scored, the place erupted except for those 2 old guys over there who said, fuck the Patriots every time they touched the ball. And that wasn't me. It was some other guy.
Just another guy.
There was.
And honestly, and I think it depends on where you go. I thought football was big in Westerly and Ledyard, and
then you moved out west.
I thought high school football was
no
big.
Man, it's a fucking religion out your neck of the woods.
Apparently, these motherfuckers, it is so a religion.
Oh, it's. I mean, the fucking business is shut down.
That. And I have a college football team right here in town. Like we have
that's true.
A D2 fringe D1 team right here in town. I work there. I feed these motherfuckers. They're massive. But yeah, football here, like a sports bar here on the weekend, on a Friday night is you've got, or Saturday, you've got local football games on the
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you've got 6 different local football games going on.
From what I've heard,
just here in town and around. Like
from what I've heard, Colorado and Texas have the biggest.
Nebraska fucking can't. I mean,
for high school football, I'm just going to stick to Colorado and Texas. Those are the 2, and I'll throw in Northern Indiana because nobody plays good football in Southern Indiana. But Northern Indiana,
here in Pueblo, we have here in Pueblo the oldest high school rivalry west of the Mississippi in period.
Nice.
It's right here, and it's the cannon game, and there's a cannon, and it fucking gets passed back and forth between the schools. It's
like the sword here.
Yeah, they've got that. They've got bell games. There's and it's passing. It's big deal.
Oh shit!
People got driving around town with their cars full of crepe paper and fucking colors, and oh god,
that's insane. A beautiful thing.
It's insane. But yeah, like high school football here on a Friday night or a Saturday, you're more than likely to find a high school football game on 2 or 3 TVs at least at any sports bar. Yeah, it's insane. It's a big deal. I'm like, you guys are fucking nuts.
That's crazy.
But yeah, like I think depending on the demographic, you could. But yeah, I think you've also then you for every bar that is seeing it slow down, you've got a bar that's packed for a local game or something. So I don't know. I think you're just seeing it move.
Somebody's entered the chat.
No, that was me still fucking around with this monitor trying to get live.
Oh, all right. But I mean, sports bars in general, I think you have to create an atmosphere rather than, hey, we play sports.
Yeah, here's some chicks in tiny white t-shirts.
I mean, you don't even need that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I definitely do not stand opposed to that.
yeah. I mean, my wife likes to check out chicks too.
Yes, she
Yeah,
does.
I saw your
But-
wife on the promo for the site. I was like, that's a nice photo.
But she. Where were we? Oh yeah, I mean,
Sports
We're
bars.
talking about
I think
lesbians.
the sports bar has to figure out. I think the sports bar has to figure out who's coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and it unfortunately that takes a while. You've got the normals, you got football, baseball, basketball, but then you can figure out some fringe shit like whatever, and you've got to promote. You know what I mean? There's some
Oh yeah,
sport like I don't know. If you're down
Curling.
south, you've got the water buggies and shit that in the bog racing and
Water buggies.
yeah, you've got all kinds of shit to put on TV. It's a sports
Mhm.
bar. Find out what people like and get them
if
in.
it draws a crowd.
Come up with a reason to get them in there to watch it.
Yeah,
No,
I don't consider the Brown Derby to be a sports bar per
No,
se.
it's a dive,
They
it's
run
a
a,
good
Derby's a
burrito.
dive bar.
but
It's a
they run a
neighborhood dive
NASCAR.
bar.
Yeah,
They had
but
good
they run a
food.
NASCAR. Yes, they do. They run a NASCAR thing every Sunday with beer specials, food specials, and from what I hear, they pack the house. I don't
Yeah.
want to sit and watch NASCAR in a bar. That takes me out of the element. But I'll watch football in a bar. I can't watch hockey in a bar. I'm too transfixed. Herm and I have watched hockey together way back in the day, and we're both like,
I have to. I can't. I have to go to a bar and alcoholic style and watch hockey. Just
explain.
But man, I
Just
just want a big
alone.
burrito.
just me. Just go to the bar, sit at the bar, watch the game. If
Mm.
not with anybody, just alone. Then I don't have to talk or hear, and because I'm going to watch the game, and I'm going to watch
Yep.
the game, and I just need to set my glass out and shake my head yes and take a new beer, and that's it. That's how I would watch. I can watch hockey. I have to pretty much be drinking alone.
Yeah,
That's
And,
where my
you know,
wife-
I can't go
Text-
hang out in a group and watch hockey. Then one's going to suffer. I'm either going to
Text-
miss the game and be pissed, or I'm not paying attention to the group.
you text Burns at the end of second intermission and go, "Is that kid
better
asleep
be
yet?"
fucking asleep. That kid better be fucking asleep right now.
Those were the days. Oh, is Emma asleep? Yep, we got this one in the bag.
I need Emma's phone number just for that. Yo, asshole, you need to get your ass to bed right now.
She would respond like, "Who are they playing?"
For real, like, what's the score? Who they playing? What's the score?
Right?
Shit.
No, she would. All right,
When-
fine. I'll go to if it was a fucked up. All right, I'll go.
The
I'll go
2011
in.
hockey season, Marsh. This is no word of a lie. Emma
Swear to
and
God,
I
it's
would
only
sit up
crazy if it doesn't-
and
if
we'd
it
watch
isn't
the
true.
Bruins game, and she would. I'm gonna stay up this time, and you're gonna see. She's 4 years old. I'm gonna stay up this time, and you're gonna see. And she's asleep by second intermission, and then the phone lights up. Whether it's Herm or any number of my Bruins
Yo,
friends, like,
so-
is she
so-
asleep?
yeah.
Yep, we got this one in the bag, and they won the fucking cup that year.
They did. Emma slept her way right to the fucking Stanley Cup.
Yep. I actually, because there was a 2-goal lead in that game where they
Let her stay
clinched the
up.
cup. No, I woke her up and I said, "You want to come see this? The Bruins are about to win it all." Okay, and she toddles out and she watches. She goes, "Yeah, that was fun," and went right back into her room. But the next year they go back to the finals and Bruins are on the precipice of victory, and I thought I felt somebody watching me. And I turned around and Emma's in the doorway. I'm like, "What are you doing?" "I just wanted to watch the end of the game." "You know you're supposed to be asleep." I texted her. I'm like, "She's awake."
Fuck.
Yep, she's awake. That was a tough one. That was Chicago Blackhawks we lost to.
Yes.
Oh, that was what year was that?
2012.
12.
2012. I
Yep.
remember I was in Florida during that game.
Ah,
Well, I was down there, and my two little stepchildren, the youngest one, he was about 7 or 8 at the time, and we were down there, and he lost his ever loving mind. He freaking because they were playing the Bruins, right?
Bruins in 2012 was Bruins Blackhawks for the
Bruins
championship.
Blackhawks. Well, he was a giant sports fan, and they lost, and he lost his ever loving mind, and so he went to bed crying. He woke up the next morning, he was fine for 30 seconds until he remembered they'd lost the night before, and he's breaking shit and oh my god.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It was it's all right.
Oof. I didn't
My
get it.
kinda-
I was never a sports fan, so I'm like, what the fuck am I witnessing here?
To me,
I pretty much did the same thing.
I didn't cry. The only time I cried was 2004 World Series when the Red Sox beat the Cardinals because I knew my dad was watching, and I'm there with I'm there at CC O'Brien's with a bunch of my sports friends, and they're all Red Sox fans except for me and one other guy and my girlfriend. We're the lone Yankee people. And as soon as that final out was thrown, I called my dad, and I'm listening to him cheer and scream and having a blast, and the tears start to pour down my eyes. And I just handed the phone to my girlfriend, and she goes, "Yep, okay, we love you too." Hung up the phone. He said, and I said, "What'd he say?" He goes, "Your dad said don't get too drunk." I said, "That's not a problem." He thought I was going to drown my sorrows in fucking alcohol. No, it's sports. You live to fight another year, another day. The only people who take it that seriously are fucking Cowboy fans.
Well, they are a little neurotic.
They took it
A
seriously last night.
I watched that game with a smile on my face. That was sexy. Speaking of football, we got a couple minutes left. Herm, it wasn't 1999.
You know,
it was so much worse. No, the beauty of that is Young Ho got his points. That's good.
Yeah.
Where was the rest of the fucking team?
They were very busy getting there.
I wish I knew. I wish I knew why. But when you go into a game,
I mean, we looked absolutely amazing.
There weren't too many mistakes made by Denver in that game, which I thought to be, I didn't want to say it was impressive, but they've been doing that all season, win or lose. I mean, they have the same record as the Falcons right now. The thing was, this game was even money on the betting line. So even Vegas couldn't have predicted this.
No.
And Denver just beat the ever-loving piss out of the Falcons. So I figured I'd give you a minute. It's not quite 1999. The score was worse, but there was no championship on the line yet.
Nope.
But I was gonna text you like before the game, good game, and you started to be a prick, so I, gave you a little prick back. It was fun, man. I had so much fun texting with you during that game, and then hey, tip of my cap. That's why I wore the plain black shirt, black Falcons hat. I'm in mourning. I was in mourning for like 1 minute, then it was over. It's sports. I could give a shit less. My life doesn't change. It's entertainment.
Yeah,
kind of like people that used to get. Go ahead, please.
At least you got something you're passionate about, something to look forward to. I mean, since you like sports year round, I mean, each season you got something different to look forward to. So that's kind of cool.
Absolutely. And the one thing that I'll never wrap my head around it. Herm and I have had conversation after conversation about this about other people, is that I don't understand how you get so enraptured, like you think your life is better or that you are better because your team beat mine. Somebody came in on my on my face. Yeah, somebody came in on my Facebook page and was like, "Hey, what happened to Atlanta today?"
They lost.
Pretty basic comment. I'm like, "Yeah, they were replaced by Folgers Crystals. It was terrible. This couldn't have gone worse." But I didn't hear from you 2 weeks ago, and I was being nice to this Cowboy fan.
Right.
Like, I didn't hear from you after the Atlanta-Dallas game, and she was kind, and she said what she had to say, and then some jackass decided to come in and be a prick, and that's fine. Be a prick, but because you wear a star on your hat, that makes you a better human being? No, it means, you remember when Kurt Cobain didn't paint the ceiling with his fucking brains. The Godfather is a fantastic movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, but that was 1972.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Jesse don't look like Uncle Jesse anymore, does he?
Well, he did.
Uncle Jesse's not dead, but the other one is
Uncle Jesse
cancer.
dead?
Uncle Jesse is not dead.
Which Uncle
Which Uncle
Jesse are we
Jesse?
fucking talking about?
Neither
John
one.
Stamos.
Oh, I'm
he's
talking about
he's
fucking
talking about Bo and
Denver
Luke.
Pyle.
Oh, Denver Pyle been dead forever.
He's been dead for a bit.
Long time.
Long time.
Different Uncle Jesse.
Uncle Jesse died at 68. His overalls were 42.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't understand it. I know with Herm and me, when we do this, it's lighthearted. It's always fun. I do it with Lynch. I do it with a lot of my friends. What I don't understand is why people stand on this ceremony when it comes to sports. I don't get it.
Well, it's you. Yesterday, the congratulations. I didn't do anything.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
It's our thing.
Right. But you
deserve me to tip.
Right, but you knew where I was coming from when I said it. Like I didn't do anything. That's just
no. You show, but you're showing that respect. Sitting next to Skip 2 weeks ago when the NASCAR season ended, and his driver comes home with the Cup championship, and I put my hand right out. I said, "Congratulations, brother! Your guy won." He's like, "Thanks, man," and that was it. It's all over.
Yeah, very rarely do I like to use "we" unless.
No, that's why I said your team, your guy, your this.
I'm just saying. I'm. I'm not one of those players that likes to use. Oh, we beat the. Well, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they did. I'm very happy they did.
So when I know you get it. So when I congratulate you, it's our friendly rivalry. Right. It's
right.
If there was, I don't know what kind of sports that we could get Marsh into in the next year.
I'm
lumberjack competitions is about it.
The worst fucking fan that I am not a homer in any way, shape, or form. I expect misery, and I'm usually pleasantly surprised. So,
right.
I mean, like, Bo's having a great year, but it's 1 year. We've had two sucky years, and we had a kind of half-ass year, and I'm not full on homer yet. We're not there.
I don't want to piss anybody off in this panel,
but
that's my caveat.
That's your disclaimer. Yeah.
Yes, because fuck your respect. In the last 20 years, one group of sports fans has eclipsed Dallas fan, and that is Boston sports fan in general. Between the Patriots, the Red Sox, the Celtics, and the Bruins, this has been there's not a year or two that goes by where somebody from Boston doesn't win a championship, and you'd think they went out there and did it, and it's like, dude, please stop. You think it bothers people. It doesn't. It might bother people who aren't as smart as us, but so Patriots got 6 fucking rings.
But yeah, it's
2004 was tough for Yankee fans because
I dug 2004. I mean, it had been freaking fucking decades,
86 years.
And I thought it was nice, but unfortunately, right after that, we turned into a bunch of insufferable fucking assholes. And it's like,
you said it, I didn't.
Come on, man. I mean, I just, it was a bummer for me. It's like I part of being a Red Sox fan, which I enjoyed, was being like the underdog and shit like that, and being the diehard. And then we basically turned into the fucking Yankees as far as.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was going to make that point. What the Red Sox did, and Herm will agree with me, is the Red Sox out-Yankeed the Yankees. They put their money on the field.
That's what I'm saying.
I want that guy. I want that guy. I want that guy. And we're going to put together the unit that's going to take us to the championship. And they did exactly that. They out-Yankeed the Yankees.
And at that point, I kind of got turned off by it because I was like, but now we're just buying a fucking team. So I was like, I was kind of done.
But sports at its heart, yes, it's entertainment for us, but it's a business. If you owned a business, wouldn't you want to put the best product out there for the people?
Yeah.
Or do you want to be the Oakland A's?
I don't know. I mean, you've got some diehard fans. I mean, like the Cleveland Browns fan base and a handful of other teams are just known for having wicked loyal fan bases and teams that don't necessarily perform spectacularly.
Raider fan.
Yeah.
Raider fan, regardless of what you may think of the way they look and the way they act, those people are loyal.
Oh, I know. I have no problem with the way they looked, but they act like fucking thugs.
Yeah, the ones that are at the stadium. I don't think, the guy at your job or the guy that I sit with on Sundays, Nick, who's a Raider fan.
No, I agree.
I mean, it's not like they're throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, Philly fan.
Well, and that was my next one.
That's always been the Raiders' draw.
Yeah. That was going to be my next point.
The Raiders themselves have always prided themselves on being thugs.
Exactly. Now, but and going along with what you were just saying about Philly, that fan base is just fucking psychotic. I mean, whether they win or lose, the city's getting burned down.
If Lyle Alzado wasn't a fucking thug, I don't know who was.
Howie Long.
I'm just saying, like pick a Raiders player, any Raiders player. They're all fucking
animals.
Who was the guy? Oh shit! I was just reading something the other day.
2 shots away from fucking jail.
There was the one idiot that they drafted first round, Jamarcus Russell. I know we got to go in a minute. And he was having a terrible year. First round draft pick. First year did okay. Second year, not so much. And the coach gives him 4 videotapes. He says, go back and watch these tapes and tell me what you took away from them. 3 days later, they come back. Their game prep the day before the game says, Jamarcus, did you like the formations that we sent you? He goes, oh, yeah, coach. Everything was great. Watched all the tapes. He gave him 4 blank videotapes. So their players aren't the brightest in the world. And their fans, the ones that show up at the stadium dressed like the Legion of Doom with the face paint.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I love it. I love stuff like that. I mean, Christ, I got 2 lucha masks with the Falcons on it. I just think it's a neat little thing to have. But I'm not going to get dressed up with feathers and fucking bullshit to go to a football game. It's just I'm there to watch a football game. It's not a fucking fashion show. I appreciate you if you want to stand in 4-degree weather with a falcon painted on your chest and the next day you're hospitalized with pneumonia. That's on you, bro. That's not me. And to end the football talk, the lawsuit that's come up that I don't know which tribe it is. I want to say it's the Blackfoot tribe is suing the NFL to get the Redskins name back, which I think is phenomenal.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah. Well, it was their chief. Their chief of the Blackfoot tribe was the one on the helmet.
Yeah, and I followed that, which I thought it was kind of sad because of that, because it was like, you know what, this isn't, there's nothing derogatory or vulgar about this, but no,
it's not like the Indian on the Cleveland Indians with the big smile and the.
No, it's not fucking. But the PC fucking police and whoever else. But
right,
I digress.
That's all right. You're allowed to digress, regress, progress, and progresso, if you will. Open the can and have your soup. I don't give a shit.
Yes.
Matt loves soup.
I do fucking love soup. It's helped me lose fucking damn near 70 pounds.
And SpaghettiOs.
Oh, you fucker. Yeah. We're talking about fucking cheap. God damn.
Matt, I found some green food today. What?
I know. I remember you told me that. I almost came in my pants.
There's 6 different types of Chef Boyardee.
As soon as you told me beefaroni, I freaking blew a load.
Beefaroni, dude.
That was good stuff.
Puke in a can.
It's good. But when you're on a diet, that's like.
Yeah.
Like you usually you're not, but this.
Well, you think about it. How many months was I into it when you told me about the beefaroni? It was like 4 months in.
Right. Like 4 months, 4.5 months in, and all of a sudden, a new food item in rotation.
Yeah. It was like an orgasm in my mouth.
Yeah, it's like because like I find myself eating the same like 7 foods.
Yeah.
Like
here we go again.
Basic sandwich every day.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I have the same this, the same that.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Day 90 on Survivor Island.
Yeah, it's the same snack. What's the snack? Small sandwich, this, something with vegetable. Ooh, what? I can eat what?
Yeah. Then we're living vicariously through each other's bullshit.
Out of here, SpaghettiOs.
Like, what'd you eat today, Herm?
Night SpaghettiOs.
I had
What kind of condiments did you use?
I had 6 crinkle cut chips with a teaspoon and a half of fry sauce. Fuck.
But with the SpaghettiOs, did you get the mini meatballs or the hot
Yes.
dogs?
Yeah, I
Yes.
do. They don't
Yeah,
make
I
it with
did.
the hot dogs anymore.
Oh,
They don't make it with
yeah.
hot
Oh,
dogs
I'm glad
anymore.
you mentioned that because I was looking for that and wondered why I couldn't find it.
They don't make it. They don't make it. You have to get it overseas. They make it overseas, but you can't get it here. They make it with meatballs, but they've upped the meatball content from when we were kids, actually.
well, good.
Well, that's
So it's
candy.
pretty heavy in meatballs, and yeah, beefaroni.
Yep.
The overstuffed beef raviolis, those
Yeah.
are green. The beef.
The
raviolis
lasagna
are
wasn't.
green. No, the lasagna, which I don't know why. There's
I didn't
something in
either.
it. It's not green, but
It
yeah,
was not
there's
green.
There's 5 or 6 Chef Boyardees or SpaghettiOs that are.
I was savoring that shit. I was taking tiny bites to try to make it last longer.
Just sit there and eating it with a small spoon. Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. I was using one of those little wooden ice cream spoons.
Oh my God. On that note, we will come back to you next week. I had
let's see if I
fun
can
with
get these technical
Netflix
issues
and
worked out.
that's all right. We got weeks and weeks and weeks to learn the new program. We'll come back with something fun. I had fun talking about Netflix and their abject disaster, as well as the fight that was an abject disaster. But it was kind of fun taking a trip down memory lane on Friday night watching Mike Tyson again. It was fun.
Yep.
Although he was gassed in the second round.
He was. He lost all
right.
of his pull.
Speaking of pull, we're pulling the fuck out of here. Unlike Mike Tyson. Later.
Oh, now I can hear fucking music.
Oh,
That figures. I can't see shit, but I can hear everything.
see? Hey, you pick your battles, baby. Every time I have to listen to you bitch, I can't hear nothing. I can't hear nothing. When Matt was watching the rebroadcast.
Yeah, now I gotta watch the whole thing over so I can see myself.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, or just go to like 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 6 seconds.
Yeah.
The opinions expressed by Matthew Marsh are those of Matthew.
Play it again.
Fuck it!
Encore.
Yeah.
Right.